Welcome to the Consulting Leaders Podcast, where we talk about the business of consulting. Whether you're looking to grow your practice or learn from the stories of leaders in consulting, you're in the right place. I'm your host, Guillaume Jouvencel, ex-PwC and co-founder of GHA Marketing. Join me as I interview the best consultants in their niche. Let's get on with the show. Chris, welcome to Consulting Leaders. Happy to have you.
Thank you, Guillaume. Much appreciated.
Let's jump straight into it. What put you into leadership and consulting work, Chris? What got you into all this?
Well, about 13 years ago, I was in working for a Fortune 500 company in senior leadership and decided always had an entrepreneurial bug. So from there, I started Empirical Consulting Solutions, and probably about a month or two in of starting Empirical, found out very quickly it was something I couldn't do just by myself. So brought on my partner, Jason Fisher, and off we went. And 13 years later, we are very heavily into the private equity market and their portcos. And then probably about 50% of our other business is in what I call business and industry. So either privately held or public companies.
What problem, that all makes sense. What problem are you solving now? What is it that you help people achieve?
Well, a lot of our clients are coming to us with very complex, sophisticated problems that they're experiencing, and their leadership team is stuck. So we will come in. We are really, interestingly, we view ourselves more as operators versus consultants. We have been a team that's been really constructed as people have been in the C-suite. We have been there, done that. We very comfortable with our clients' frontline leadership. So in many of our projects or things we're working with our clients with, we're working with the C-suite, but we are also working with their frontline leadership and their frontline team to really figure out what the pain points are, figuring out what the root cause analysis is to really solve their problems.
Who do you do that with? Like, who do you typically work with?
Well, we're agnostic, but I would say a core of our customers and their industries are primarily, I would say, manufacturing, distribution, professional services. We'll work with mid-size. Our sweet spot, I would say, would be 100 million up to 250 million, but we will work all the way up to Fortune 500.
Fortune 500, do you have a specific industry, or is it pretty much industry agnostic?
We're really industry agnostic. We've worked with 30 industries over the course of our 30 plus really industries over the course of our time.
Nice.
Really, look, I'm a Lean Six Sigma black belt. We look at it this way. The expertise of their industry is really with our clients, but we bring the proven methodology to really solve the challenges that they're facing. And there's quite a few challenges today in the industry.
Tell me about it. Okay, I love the picture. Just one last question on this. Who makes the decision of hiring you guys? Who do you need to get into a room with to be like, hey, I'm a Lean Six Sigma black belt, I can help you out. But who do you need to convince? Who do you need to talk to?
Typically, if we're talking about private equity, it would be the private equity team and the C-suite of the portco. If we're talking business and industry, it is typically the CEO or the CFO ultimately making the decision.
Thanks a lot for the context, Chris. That's so I love this, and we're getting into my favorite part, although I shouldn't, because I should be unbiased, right? Which is marketing. So this is very high level type of ICPs, right? Ideal customer profiles. Sure. What have you done? What has worked for you to get the right attention of those right people? So the C-suite of the portco, the CEO, CFO of the industry companies that you're targeting. what have you done marketing-wise that has allowed you to generate this type of very high-profile leads?
We do, it's very complex for us. Still, number one today is referrals, word of mouth, especially in the private equity. I always will say this to the team: we can't be wrong. We have to execute at the highest level and deliver on our promises. Every project we do has a project charter. It identifies the goals, the mission of the project, who the lead, the cadence of communication, and we have to deliver on those expectations. So referral, when you do that and you finish a project, and our mentality is we're not consultants who want to linger around. We're operators who want to finish and complete the project at a very high level, and that it's sustainable. We don't want to leave and then it's not sustainable. If you do that, you're going to get referrals, especially in the private equity market. It's a small world, and word of mouth. If you do great work, they're willing to give referrals to other private equity and their portcos. In the business and industry, we have found we spent a lot of time on blogging, so writing quite a bit of blogs. We also have a lot of case studies and testimonials, and obviously our website. Our website is where a lot of people find us through those vehicles. And then podcasting. I've been doing more and more podcasting, so I love it. I love the conversation, love the Q&A and the back and forth.
Well, welcome to my world. So we're going to talk about podcasting, obviously, but I wanted to discuss the different things that you mentioned. So referrals, obviously, I mean, that's, for me, that's the byproduct of doing a good job as a consultant, right? If you're not getting those, like,
agreed,
review your offer. So that makes sense, just as a very high ticket, very niche kind of service offering. Talk to me about blogs. Like, how do you transform written blogs into leads? How have you made that work for you?
Well, we do have a lead gen internalist. So we do target industries and sizes. And so a lot of that lead gen targeting is attaching a blog that we think is specific to that industry, which is typically talking about a topic that we find we probably could raffle off like the top 5 issues that we're finding today and areas of pain points, for instance, or areas where companies get stuck today in transformation. And AI is a big part of that transformation today. So that really makes it attractive for the prospective prospect to open that up. And without that blog or without that insight that we're providing, I'm not sure our leads would potentially open that up. We'd just be like everybody else who sends a bit of verbiage and they just end up deleting it.
Yeah, that does make sense. Talk to me about podcast. How do you go from, conversations, Q&As, to leads, to conversations with CEOs of portfolio companies, and CFO, CEOs of those industry companies? Like, how do you move the needle?
Well, it never ceases to amaze us the amount of due diligence our clients will do prior to contracting with us. They're looking at our website. They're looking at snippets of podcasts, videos, testimonials, referrals. LinkedIn is, if you don't have a great LinkedIn page, that is how people are vetting us and making decisions. And that's how we're always in competition in this industry, like everyone. And we have to find things that continue to differentiate us from our competition, especially in the vetting process.
So it's interesting. So what you're saying, if I understand properly, Chris, is you're going to have the traditional lead gen systems, referrals, potentially finding you through SEO with the websites and the articles on it. People will eventually start going down your funnel, but as they do so, they will also look into, pardon me, your company, what you guys do. They will consume long form content, aka podcast episodes, where they hear you talk, they hear you develop on your expertise, and then they make the decision of like, yeah, actually makes sense. I've heard you on Consulting Leaders podcast. What you said was amazing, and the host looked great, by the way. So wanted to engage. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly what I'm saying. This is probably the best medium for our clients to get to know me and
Yeah.
hearing our dialogue back and forth. It really
Yeah.
gives them a feel. You can't put that type of context on a blog or a testimonial.
Mhm. Fair enough. And talk to me about moving those conversations to a closed deal. Like, how do you go from, a first interaction to a first conversation, a sales conversation, an SOW, a letter of engagement? How do you make all that work?
It's interesting. I will say that primarily it's either hurry up and get started or it's a slow burn. So obviously, if it's hurry up and get started, they're feeling a lot of pain and they need to solve the problem and they have to have a solve quickly. In the slow burns, it's someone's needing persuasion. They know the problem exists, but they're a little cautious. Either in the past they've had bad experiences with consultants, or maybe there's a caution to bring in an external resource, and now that will mix with their current team. So that is where the persuasion or really the immersion begins. They need a little more time, and where I think we're really good fits for teams. They see we're more operators, right? We're not the sticky consultant who, doesn't bring a lot of substance. We bring a lot of substance. We bring a lot of leadership skills that we're able to connect not only with the C-suite, but with other team members in the room. And I think that is really one of our big differentials when we're competing. So that helps move the needle quite considerably. It's that connection, and that, this is someone who I feel could be part of our team rather than
Yeah.
an external resource.
I like that. I very much like the idea of partnerships nowadays. I mean, I guess any consultant will tell you that, whether that's now 10, 20, or 30 years ago. I think in a trust recession world, in a day and age where anybody can claim anything really, building that, authenticity, trust, relationship, authority as you go with your partners is how you're going to win eventually.
I say you really touched on some keywords. It's all about authenticity, being genuine as a leader, and transparency. We're very transparent. So I think you really hit on some keywords when you establish really a partnership.
Agreed. And talk to me how you make this partnership live throughout time. So you signed that engagement, right? One of the things that I learned as a consultant back then from the partner who kind of taught me everything was there are two types of consultants. It's not good or bad, it's just two different approaches. You have the
Correct.
hunters and you have the farmers. And he was like, he was saying, I'm a hunter. I love the smell of fresh blood in the morning. I love to go after new business. And he was like, but the partners who make the most money, the ones who grow the fastest, the ones who bring the most money to the firm are the farmers, the ones who are able to take that initial engagement, over deliver, and transform it into a multi-layered, multi-year project involving other teams from the firm. Those are the ones who are the most successful.
Mhm.
How do you farm, Chris?
Well, we're fortunate. We have three lines of business. We have operations, HR services, and we also have sales and marketing services. So most clients, when we enter a partnership with them, we're going in for one line of service. It could be one of any of those three. The most successful partners, and you're spot on, are the ones who grow it and we start doing multi-line services. So we have partners today and clients today who use 2 to 3 of our services, and they love it. It's integrated, and it really does lengthen our engagement. And the great thing is, if you do great work, we'll finish one project, but they're very quick to give us a second. So we have clients that we have been with. Our first client is still a client today. We provide what we call an agile service. He does a retainer on a monthly basis, and we provide all three services that work within that retainer. So he can pick and choose on a monthly basis of what his needs, and we kind of fill the gaps. For a lot of your middle market, they can't truly afford A players or impact players at every position. So we have become a good alternative to kind of fill some of the gaps for some of our clients and work, and we call it our agile advisor, based on whatever their needs are on a month-to-month basis. And that's how we've really expanded our relationships and continue. We won't stay with one project forever. We'll finish one, but we'll surely take a second or do other types of services for those companies. And that lengthens the engagement.
Oh. Can you talk to me about the mechanism that you use, that you're comfortable sharing, but like, how do you apply this? I want to make sure that, you know, a consultant listening to us right now, dealing with the same type of client as yours, can learn from this. And like, okay, obviously you onboard a new project, right? Potentially a foot in the door, small project, small scope, to basically see, for the client to see if, you know, you're able to deliver.
Mhm.
What mechanism do you use? At which points, with what approach do you talk about the next one? Is it like highest level of satisfaction? You say, hey, that's amazing. We solved that problem. Remember, this is where we were when we started. By the way, whilst doing so, I've identified those next 3 problems that you're going to have because you solved that one. You know, solving a problem only brings the next one. How do you do this?
You know, a lot of our discussions, we do a lot of strategic planning as one of the services we offer. We'll go through a strategic planning session, and obviously that's going to bubble up a lot of opportunity. And a lot of our clients will say, well, our plates are full. This is a great strategic plan, but we can't execute all this. Now, if we did, it's where we want to go. And that provides a perfect opportunity. And in many of our projects, when you go through the action planning process, and we're very specific about that when we get to that stage of the improve phase, there's usually an action plan. And in most cases, given the complexity, it goes interdependencies. It's a big project. There's a lot of bandwidth required. And a lot of times we're able to fill those gaps, and it's not a hard sell. They're really looking at us saying, can you help us? Because we to execute this, we don't maybe have the skill level or the bandwidth, and we have a lot on our plates. Can you take some of this off? And we're very happy to do that. So, you know, I think over the course of time, it hasn't been, we really haven't been selling in the sense of direct. It's come more through our process, and thus it's not really in your face, I could say, selling. And it's more a trust and rapport that is built up over the project, over our relationship, and they're really looking for us to fill those gaps.
I mean, I like the approach, Chris. So I'm going to throw a little bit of a curveball at you here.
Okay.
What's, because I mean, I like the marketing approach, obviously very thought leadership based. Podcasting, I mean, I have a weakness for it myself. Blog, which makes sense. Referrals, which is the result of doing a good work. Building that authority, trust relationship as you go through the sales cycle, and then approaching upsells with a client-focused approach. I mean, consulting 101. What's your number one challenge right now? What's the one nut that you know once you crack, you're going to take the whole thing to the next level? What would that be for you?
It's really, for us, transitioning AI into our services. So we're in the process of making a very hard pivot into how we utilize AI as a tool in our services. And, you know, from having a closed LLM to being, how does that incorporate into our services? How do our clients benefit from this? And really, we're seeing it as a major boost in productivity. And for us, the increase in productivity, we're able to pass on that increased productivity to our clients. And really, it's helping us expedite our process. So it's really getting that message out to our clients. So I don't know if it's necessarily we're stuck or I think we're just making a hard pivot. I think as the rest of really the world is making this pivot to AI and how do we use it.
So do you have some avenues on that? Like, what are you thinking? It's funny because we had a mastermind session focused on this last week. I'll tell you more about this one. Around what still has value in the age of AI for consultants. Like, what's the thing that for sure, like, yeah, helps us be more productive, write emails, build some slides, summarize discussions, take notes during meetings, all that jazz. And the focus group that we had was conversing around, but what still has value? Like, what are the things that we should do ourselves, or that AI won't replace us easily on? And what are the things that, on the contrary, we need to use AI for? So what are your avenues? Like, what are you thinking about tactically when it comes to implementing AI in your consulting practice?
Well, it has really cut our research down. So, and I think a large concern for many consultants is, how do I bill? So let's just take, I've cut my research down. Maybe something that took 20 hours now can be done in 1 hour. And it's a big issue. I can remember sitting in an exit planning meeting in New York talking to a lawyer, a legal group. And the first thing they started to think about is, wow, this is going to really affect our billing from a perspective. How do we do that? So really, we look at how can we do value creation? And we really have to work people through the specifics of how we create value with AI and how that's going to really refine our delivery process. A lot of clients are interested. They want you to use AI. A lot of people don't have a lot of understanding around AI. So we're all still learning. And I can never profess to say I'm an expert today at AI. I don't think many can. So it's evolving so quickly. I think we're trying to figure out as really an industry, how do we utilize this tool? How do we present that? How do we make that customer facing and understand the value? Many of our clients, it's really led to an opportunity. Many of our clients are saying, can you help us start to transition from current state to an AI era? So I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity that exists for consultancy to help with that transition and what that platform looks like.
Oh, 100%. 100%. It's like, how do we integrate AI in our practices, but how do we help? Because I think at the end of the day, there are some like AI agencies, lots of people, trying to sell the shovel in that gold rush, or the pickaxes, not sure how we say in English. I think the consultants who are already in place and have that deep expertise on a specific topic, specific industry, who then implement the things that there is to implement as to what AI can help on, is where the real opportunities is, in my opinion. Talking about opportunities, so let's look at the other side of the coin here. I guess it's going to be AI, but you know what? You're not allowed to answer AI. What's one big opportunity that you're looking forward to work on in the next 3 to 6 months, Chris? What do you see in your industry beyond AI, or maybe a consequence or a byproduct of AI, that you personally are looking forward to work on in 2026 and beyond?
Are you speaking from a client perspective or our organization, or both?
Well, you're opening the door, so give me both.
Okay. Well, clients are looking for competitive advantage. So they expect us to come in and really give them a deliverable that gives them a competitive advantage, that separates them, and that we're spending a lot of focus. Obviously, return on investment. Everybody's always looking for a return on investment, but optimally, they're looking for a competitive advantage. And by bringing in our services, they want to be positioned that way. I think internally, we're always trying to differentiate and find ways that because we don't want to be commoditized. We're always looking for that way. And we feel by having deliverables that give them a competitive advantage, get their ROI, and we're able to flawlessly execute is going to separate us from our competitors.
Chris Lee, ladies and gentlemen. Chris, if people want to find out more about you, see what you do, where should they go?
They should go to our website. It's www.thinkempirical.com, or they can DM me directly at clee@thinkempirical.com.
We'll put all the links in the description. For what I'm concerned, I can say one thing for sure. You've gained at least one new connection on LinkedIn since the outreach for the podcast. Me, Chris, thank you so much for coming on Consulting Leaders.
Thank you, Gilliam. Much appreciated. Thank you for your time.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Consulting Leaders podcast. We hope you learned valuable lessons on how to grow your practice and take your business to the next level. Make sure to subscribe and leave us a review wherever you're listening to this show so you never miss an episode. To apply and be a guest on the show, click the link in the description. See you next time. How was that, Chris?